everyone, welcome to another of Keri's wisdom snippets. Today I have my special guest, Thea. She's going to be helping me today on this video. So, seeing as we are on lockdown and we are homeschooling, I thought this was actually a really good way to incorporate a bit of homeschooling for Thea as well. So what I wanted to do this video on is something called the goldfish bowl analogy. And as you'll see, it's an analogy that's going to help you understand about toxicity in the body and how what we put in really affects our terrain. So this is talking about the terrain of the body. So basically what we've got here is our little fish.
A fish in a bowl in a bowl.
Yes, and what's our fish called?
Nemo.
So this is our fish Nemo, and here he is happily swimming around in his natural environment. And as you can see, it's nice and clear. Now this is kind of relating to the cells in our body and them swimming around in our inner terrain of our body. So like our goldfish bowl of our body, and Nemo represents the cells that are swimming around in our body. So we're going to look at what everyday life is for the majority of people that are on a standard American diet, or a diet that consists of processed junk foods, stimulants, mucus-forming foods, dairy, meat, everything like that. And we're going to have a look, and we're going to...
Don't forget unhealthy stuff.
Exactly. And we're going to have a look at what that does to the cells of our body. So, most people in the morning when they wake up, the first thing they do is they have a nice cup of coffee. So we're going to pop that in first. There we go, we're having our nice cup of morning coffee. Now, straight away, you can already see what's happening to the terrain of our bodies. It's starting to go a little bit murky and not very nice.
Dirty.
But it's okay, it's a stimulant. We're fine, it's giving us that boost to go. So after that, we normally have...
And don't forget Nemo's making bubbles now.
Yes, so normally we have a bit of toast, don't we? So should we have a bit of toast? Let's pop a bit of that in then. Break that up and put that in there. So we have our toast for breakfast. Sometimes we have cereal, and what goes on cereal?
This is
A little bit of sugar.
I'm going to put some sugar in.
There we go, we've done that. So that's breakfast done. Then off we go about our day. You know, and then we get a bit peckish mid-morning. We think, oh, I know, think might have to have a little mid-morning biscuit. Now, these are dairy. Now, Thea is super sensitive to anything, to a lot of toxins, and she has a super sensitive dairy allergy, so she can't even touch. In fact, if I was to just hold this and touch her, her skin would flare. So she's wearing gloves. It just goes to show that we really shouldn't. You can, yeah. How really this sort of stuff shouldn't be going into the body. So pop that in. So here we've got dairy, refined sugars, all that sort of rubbish going in there. But we see that as a mid-morning snack. In it goes. Yum. Right?
It's all milk.
So we carry on with our day. Pick it up and put it in. Good girl. We carry on with our day. Wait there. Just put your hands there. And then we get to lunchtime. We're like, oh, we're a bit hungry now. It's lunchtime. So for lunch, most people will have their sandwich. So again, more bread. Can we put more bread in there, please? You know, for our sandwich. And then it's like, oh, you can have some crisps to put in as well. Then it's like, I'm going to just carry on. Then it's like, okay, we'll have some crisps. Chuck it all in, that'll do. Now chuck the rest in.
I want to break it up.
Just crunch them all in. Come on, crunch them all in. That's it. And all of them. Lovely job. In it goes. And sometimes people don't have a sandwich, but they have the snack Scotch eggs or sausage rolls. A few of them go in. This is just a day. You know, in it goes. Looking at Murphy. After we've eaten all of that, we then think, oh, we've got to eat something sweet. I'm having that sweet craving.
I can't even see.
So we might have a few muffins, you know, there we go, a couple of muffins go in there.
I didn't eat my
In they go. Yeah, don't touch your face with them gloves, please. Right, so in it goes. Ugh. And you know, we have so much refined sugar in a day, you know, why not add in a little bit more? Well, of course, what happens now, just rest your hands down there. What happens now is you can't see Nemo anymore, but he's really struggling to swim in here. He's like, he just got no energy. He's got no energy at all, so he's like, what am I going to do? I know, let's reach for something. This will give me some wings. So in goes an energy drink. because, you know, we're not looking at how we can actually help ourselves. We're just looking at a quick fix. Oh, I'm feeling tired. What can I do to fix this symptom? That's enough. Brilliant. You know, and like, you know, again, a lot of people drink this lovely drink, a bit of Coke. Chuck that in there. Might not fit all of it. That'll do. Brilliant. In that goes. You know, because we're trying to relieve a symptom rather than looking at what's causing the problem. So we get home in the evening, we sit down, we have another load of stuff goes in for dinner, and we go, God, I just need to, I don't feel very good, I feel a bit sluggish and I know what, I'll just sit down and have a drink. That's going to help, you know, that's going to help me feel better. So in goes the wine or the beer or whatever else. And that's our normal day. Now, Nemo in there is really struggling to swim. And he's thinking, oh,
I can't hardly see.
I've got a bit of indigestion.
I can only see his fin and
So rather than looking at what we're putting into the body, we start reaching for things to treat symptoms. So Mummy's going to do these because they're medicines. So we start looking at medicines. So, you know, in goes some indigestion remedies. You know, then it's like, oh, I've got a bellyache. So in goes a Buscopan. Don't touch those. Thank you. I asked you not to. Good girl. In goes some of those. Well, kind of helps a little bit. A few aches and pains, and you think, oh, I'm aching a little bit. Got a bit of a head. Again, all the time, what we're doing is actually treating a symptom rather than the cause. See, then what happens when we carry on day to day to day is that the inner terrain of our bodies becomes so clogged. Now, we have a natural filtration system in the body. So there are organs in our bodies that naturally filter out a lot of the toxins. Now, because of the stress we put our bodies under, it can't cope with the amount of toxins we're putting into it. So it's not just what we're putting in, it's what we're receiving from outside forces, from pollution, you know, from the radiation, from all of those sort of things. It's the external toxins as well as the internal toxins. So we're really putting our body under a lot of strain. So there's only a certain amount that the natural filtration system can cope with. And what happens is over time of trying to alleviate symptoms, what actually happens is we start to feel stiff, achy, or we start to get some kind of disease or illness happening. Then we have to look at taking medication. Like we might get a cold or a cough. And it's like, that's actually the body's natural detox system trying to work. But what happens is we go, oh, I've got a bit of a cough, I've got some stuffed up sinuses and a bunged up nose. So out comes more meds, you know. It's like what Jason Val says, it's a pill for every ill, an ill for every pill. And it shouldn't be that way. So here we go in with the old sinus remedies. Let's take some of them, see if that alleviates the problem. No, that's just going to cause more toxicity in the body. Then we come down with an infection or something like that, so we go to the hospitals and we get nasty antibiotics here that are very toxic to the body. You might get a headache, you know, and these, whilst they have a place, and it's not that I'm against the medical profession, I just think that we, instead of looking at what we're putting in and dealing with that part, what we're actually doing is just putting more toxins into the body rather than cleaning up and dealing with the cause rather than treating the symptoms. But you know, most people are not looking at that, so we go to the hospitals and we get put on antibiotics or steroids or all these sorts of things, and of course all of these are toxic to the body too. No, I'm not going to put them in, they're very toxic, so I'm not going to touch those. So in it all goes. Let's put our hands in and give that a bit of a stir, because what's happening in the body, look at this, you know, poor Nemo's just given up. Poor Nemo's just, let me get you a tea towel because that's disgusting in there.
Looks like,
Yeah.
looks like.
That's it, rest your hands on there now. And if you can see this, it is disgusting. Nemo has given up the ghost. He is just struggling in there. Now Thea,
Yeah.
if we wanted to make Nemo healthy again, what could we do?
We could take all the stuff out and put clean water in there.
How simple is that? We clean up the terrain. So we take all the nasty water out and we replace it with clean water. So what we're talking about here...
We're going to need to take him out.
Yeah, we will. We'll do that later. What we're talking about here is removing toxicity and replenishing the nutrients in the body. So it's replacing deficiency, removing toxicity, replacing deficiencies. This is what we're talking about. So it really does matter what we're putting into the bodies and what we're exposing the bodies to. This is why many of us out there in the health profession, in this group especially, we promote a diet that's about living foods that are going to give you life, give you energy, help to clean the body out. You know, these foods are highly, highly addictive, and it's hard to come off of them. You know, it really is. But we can just make a small change. We can start cleaning up the terrain. We can help support the body's natural filtration system, and we can start to feel healthier and better. One of the other things I want to talk about is we look at pathogens. So pathogens are things that are in the body like viruses, bugs, bacteria, fungus, all of those sorts of things.
And we've always got a fly stuck in my eye.
You did, but let's just carry on talking. Leave Nemo alone, put your hands there for me because it's a bit disgusting in there. So we look at pathogens as being the enemy, but actually when you look in nature, when a tree falls down and it begins to rot, what is it that helps that tree break down? It's the bacteria, the molds, the funguses, the parasites. Hold on. That's what helps to break down this tree. So when we've got a body that's got an inner terrain that's like this, and the body can't break it down, what happens is it becomes a breeding ground for parasites, for viruses, for all these pathogens, because they thrive on breaking this down. And in fact, in a way, they're kind of helping the body in breaking this down. So if you think about it, if we clean up the terrain of the body, then these viruses and these pathogens and bacteria have got nothing to thrive and survive on. All the while we're feeding with this stuff, all the toxins, we're actually feeding and giving these viruses and pathogens a terrain that they can thrive and survive on. So
all of this unhealthy stuff are giving the viruses stronger.
They are making the viruses and the bacteria stronger because it's giving them stuff to feed on, isn't it? So in today's current climate and the thing we're going through, this pandemic with the coronavirus, really what we need to be looking at is, I know everybody's going crazy about supplementing and what can we put in to boost the immune system, but what we also need to be looking at, and it's actually far more important than what we're putting in, is what can we remove from the body, from the diet, that's creating this terrain that viruses that can thrive in. Because if we start looking at what we can remove, the body can then kick into gear, it can come back into homeostasis. Then we can supplement if needed along the journey to help build it back up into one of being really radically well. Anyway, I hope that's given you something to think about. Thea, you did a wonderful demonstration there, thank you so much. And if you've got any questions at all, please do reach out. We are here to support you as much as we can. And until next time, we'll see you soon. Stay well.